So, hello, let's continue with our chapter 2, reading the pen. It's day 4, it's starting. So, your behaviors are usually a reflection of your identity. What you do as an indication is a type of person you believe that you are, either consciously or non consciously. Research has shown that once a person believes in a particular aspect of their identity, they are more likely to act in alignment with that belief. For example, people who identified as a being a voter were more likely to vote than those who simply claim voting was an action they wanted to perform. Similarly, the person who incorporates exercise into their identity doesn't have to convince themselves to train. Doing the right thing is easy. After all, when your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, you are no longer pursuing behavior change. You are simply acting like the type of person you already believe yourself to be. Like all aspects of habit formation, this is too a double-edged sword. When working for you, identity change can be powerful force for self-alignment. When working against you, though identity change can be a curse. Once you have adopted an identity, it can be easy to let your al- allegiance to it impact your ability to change. Many people walk through life in cognitive slumber, blindly following the norms attached to their identity. I am I am terrible with directions. I'm not the morning person. I'm bad at remembering people's names. I always I am always late. I'm not good with technology. I'm horrible with maths and thousands of other variations. When you have repeated a story for years, it is easy to slide into these mental groups and accept them as a fact. In time, you begin to resist certain actions because that not to who I am. There is an internal pressure to maintain your self-image and behave in a way that is consistent with your beliefs. You find whatever you can to avoid contradicting yourself. The more deeply a thought or action is tied to your identity, the more difficult is it to change. It can feel comfortable to believe that your culture believes your group identity or to do what upholds your self-image, personal identity, even if it's wrong. The biggest barrier to positive change is at any level, individual, team, or society, is identity conflict. Good habits can make rational sense, but if conflict conflict with your identity, you will fail to put them into action. On any given day, you may struggle with your habits because you are too busy or too tired or too overwhelmed or hundreds of other reasons. Hundreds of other reasons. Over the long run, however, the real reason you fail to stick with habits is that your self-image gets in the way. This is why you can't get too attached to one version of your identity. Progress requires unlearning. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. This brings us to important question. If your beliefs and worldview play such an important role in your behavior, where do they come from in the first place? How exactly your identity is formed? And how can you emphasize new aspects of your identity that serve you and gradually erase the pieces that hinder you? So let's talk about the two step. two-step process of changing your identity. Your identity emerges out of your habits. You are not born with the preset beliefs. Every belief, including those about yourself, is learned and conditioned through experience. More precisely, your habits are how you embody your identity. When you make your bed each day, you embody the identity of an organized person. When you write each day, you embody the identity of a creative person. When you train each day, you embody the identity of athletic person. The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior. In fact, the word identity was originally derived from the Latin word essentiis, essentiis, which means being, and identitum, which means repeatedly. Your identity is literally your repeated beingness. Whatever your identity is right now, you only believe in it because you have proof of it. If you go to church every day, every Sunday for 20 years, you have evidence that you are religious. If you stood biology, sorry, if you study biology for 1 hour every night, you have evidence that you are studious. If you go to the gym even when it's snowing, you have evidence that you are committed to fitness. The more evidence you have for a belief, the more strongly you believe it. For most of our early life, I didn't consider myself a writer. If you were asked to if you were to ask any of my high school teacher or college professor, they would tell you I was an average writer at best, certainly not a standout. When I began my writing career, I published a new article every Monday and Thursday for first few years. As evidence to so did my identity as a writer. I didn't start out as a writer. I became one through my habits. Of course, your habits are not only actions that influence your identity, but the virtue of their frequency. They are usually the most important ones. Each experience in life modifies your self-image, but it's unlikely you would consider yourself a soccer player because you kicked a ball once, or an artist because you scribbled a picture. As you repeat these actions, however, the evidence accumulates and your self-image begins to change. The effect of one of experiences tends to away while the effect of habits gets reinforced with time, which means your habits contribute most of the evidence that shapes your identity. In this way, the process of building habits is actually the process of becoming yourself. This is gradual evolution. We do not change by snapping our fingers and deciding to be someone entirely new. We change it bit by bit, day by day, habit by habit. We continually undergoing micro evolutions of the self. Each habit is like suggestion. Hey, me, this is who I am. If you finish a book, then perhaps you are a type of person who likes reading. If you go to gym, then perhaps you are the type of person who likes exercise. If you practice playing the guitar, perhaps you are the type of person who likes the music. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. This is one reason why meaningful changes does not require radical change. So small habits can make a meaningful difference by providing evidence of a new identity. And if a change is meaningful, it is actually a it actually is big. That's the paradox of making small improvements. Putting this all together, you can say that habits are the path to changing your identity. The most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. Each time you write a page, you are a writer. Each time you practice a violin, you are a musician. Each time you start a workout, you are an athlete. Each time you encourage your employees, you are a leader. Each habit not only gets results but also teaches you something far more important: to trust yourself. You start believe you start to believe you can actually accomplish these things. When the votes mount up and evidence begins to change, the story you tell yourself begins to change. Of course, it works in opposite way too. Every time you choose to perform a bad habit, it's a vote to your identity. The good news is that you don't need to be perfect. In any election, there are going to be votes for both sides. You don't need a unanimous vote to win an election. You just need a majority. It doesn't matter if you cast a few votes for a bad behavior or an unproductive habit. Your goal is to simply to win the majority of the time. New identities require new evidences. If you keep casting the same votes you have always cast, you are going to get the same results you have always had. If nothing changes, nothing is going to change. It is simply two-step process. First, decide the type of person you want to be, and second, prove it to yourself with small wins. First, decide who you want to be. This holds at any level. As an individual, as a team, as a community, as a nation. What do you want to stand for? What are your principles and values? What do you wish to become? These are big questions, and many people aren't sure where to begin. But they do know what kind of result they want: to get six pack abs, or to feel less anxious, or to double their salary. That's fine. Start there and work backward from the results you want to the type of person you could get you person who could get those results results. Ask yourself, who is the type of person that could get the outcome I want? Who is the type of person that could lose 40 pounds? Who is the type of person that could learn a new language? Who is the type of person that could run a successful startup? For example, who is the type of person who could write a book? It's probably someone who is consistent and reliable. Now your focus shifts from writing a book outcome based to being the type of person who is consistent and reliable, identity based. This process can lead to beliefs like I am kind of teacher who stand up for her students. I am kind of doctor who give each patient the time and empathy they need. I am kind of manager who advocates for her employees. Once you have handled once you have a handle on the type of person you want to be, you can begin taking small steps to reinforce your desired identity. I have a friend who lost over 100 pounds by asking herself what would a healthy person do. All day long, she would use this question as a guide. Would be a healthy person walk or take a cab? Would a healthy person order a burrito or a salad? She figured it she figured if she acted like a healthy person long enough, eventually she would become that person. She was right. The concept of identity based habit is our uh, introduction to another key theme in this book: feedback loops. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity shape your habits. It's a two-way street. The formation of all habits is a feedback loop, a concept we will explore in depth in next chapter. But it's important to let your values, principles, and identity drive the loop rather than your results. The focus should always be on becoming that person, that type of person, not getting a particular outcome. The real reason habits matter. Identity change is a north star of habit change. The remainder of this book will provide you with a step-by-step instruction on how to build better habits in yourself, your family, your team, your company, and anywhere else you wish. But the true question is, are you becoming the type of person you want to become? The first step is not what or how, but who. You need to know who you want to be. Otherwise, your quest for change, change is like a boat without a rudder. And that's why we are starting here. You have the power to change your beliefs about yourself. Your identity is not a set in stone. You have a choice in every moment. You can choose the identity you want to reinforce today with the habits you choose today. And this brings us to deeper purpose of this book and the real reason habits matter. Building better habits isn't about littering your day with life hacks. It's not about flossing one tooth each night and taking a cold shower each morning or wearing the same outfit each day. It's not about achieving external measures of success like earning more money, losing weight, or reducing stress. Habits can help you achieve all of these things, but fundamentally they are not about having something. They are about becoming someone. Ultimately, your habits matter because they help you become the type of person you wish to be. They are the channel through which you develop your deepest belief about yourself. Quite literally, you become your habits. So this was the chapter end. Chapter Second chapter ending. Thank you for today.